Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good, what's good, what's good. So this week is going to be a very, very busy week. And because of that, I actually do have a surprise poll question today. How many countries are there in the world? How many countries are there in the world? And we'll get to that in a little while. Now, what do we have going on now? We've got Solana delivering about 10,000% return on investment over the past 5 years. That's why there are so many companies buying into Solana right now. What they've chosen to do is they've chosen to say, well, even with all of the network outages, it's still up 10,000%. Can't be mad about that. Cannot be mad about that. But there's a difference between investment and adoption, right? And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that long-term thing, because if the only reason why people are investing is because they think that they're going to make money, that's cool. I have no issue with that. But that doesn't force Solana to actually fix anything. There's my fear. Because all you need to get wiped out is one network outage. We've seen it happen before. It went from over $200 to below $135, like that. And then, of course, the markets took a hit, and it hasn't. Nobody's quite recovered just yet. So yeah, I have a problem with that. I take a look at that. So it's great to look at that big picture. Oh, those people that invested 5 years ago. What were the times like 5 years ago versus now? You didn't have that many people investing in it 5 years ago versus now. You didn't have that many people investing in crypto 5 years ago versus now. You didn't have institutional investment 5 years ago versus now. Huge difference. Huge. Some would say almost monumental. Right? So over the past 5 years, yes, it's been able to gain 10,000. But if you invest today, you're dealing with today's risks. If you've invested over the past couple of years, you invested during the risks of those times. And that's more than just a little big deal. It's bigger than what you think. All you need is one network outage to bring you down. And me personally, I've got a bag. It's been sitting there for a while now, but I'm not putting any new money into Solana. I'm not telling you not to. I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm not putting any new money into Solana. Not until I hear that they've solved that network gremlin problem. Not until I see more integration, more adoption. That's what I'm waiting for. What else we have going on? North Korea's Lazarus Group has been getting incredibly big. Yo, Crypto News Networks, what's good? Has been getting incredibly big, and I was going to use a bad word. Don't want to use a bad word. They're just getting really out there. They're getting really, really out there with certain things. So they've used two U.S. companies, Block Nova's LLC and Soft Glide LLC. This is how much they're willing to go. They created these companies just so they can trick hackers into using their software, which actually winds up being malware. Wow. Now, when you think about how much money is there, how much money do they have to blow on creating these companies? They don't care about these companies. These are fake companies. You can create an LLC in a heartbeat. So you create an LLC. You don't care about paying taxes because you're not here. There's nobody to put a finger on to make them pay taxes. So they don't care. And so you create these companies. The companies look legit. And so you get involved with their software, not realizing that you're going to have a whole bunch of stuff out there that's going to wind up getting on the people's computers and just wreaking havoc. So that's a problem. Nike faces a $5 million lawsuit. Why? They're being accused of a rug pull because they abruptly stopped their RTFKT project. Investors are claiming unregistered securities violations and major financial losses. Shock. Hutanik, to answer your question, Palestine and the Vatican are included in that number. are included in the number. And that would, because I see where you're going. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Those are what they call observer countries. So yeah, they count. Something else that happened, and good morning to you, sir. Something else that happened, CoinGecko survey of 2,632 crypto participants say that they believe AI is going to outperform humans when it comes to trading. Shocker. Do you know that, bots and things like that have already been used in this all over the stock market? They're already there. It's already there. Everybody in the industry already knows. It's people outside the industry that are waking up to it. So yeah, there's a lot going on in that space, and there's a lot that you can do. There's a lot that you have to pay attention to, which is why I tell you about the GMB3. Lieutenant, go to the corner for that. That was really good. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. That starts with doing your own research. I had somebody come at me. They didn't come at me. I had somebody make a statement that what I was saying was, they take what I say as opinion. And I cracked up. My response to them was, this is why I tell you to do your own research. I give you the news, and then I give you my opinion on the news. I haven't changed. I have not changed. I give you the news, and then I give you my opinion about that news. And I give you my opinion about how I think that news connects to other things that could affect your bags. I do not change from that. I say it all the time. I make that statement all the time. And we'll get to why XRP is revving up. Then we've got the SEC approving ProShares 3 XRP futures ETFs. April 30th is when they're supposed to launch. 2 days. 2 days. Now you know why. Bing, 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 bing. Now you know why. They just got the nod. They'll launch April 30th. Then you have a couple more. You have one more coming May 19th. And then June could wind up being a very hot month. It could wind up being a very hot month, right? We've got BitGet suing 8 accounts for manipulating the Voxel token price, recovering $20 million and planning user refunds via airdrop. Not bad. Grayscale. I didn't know this. Grayscale GPTC remains the top Bitcoin ETF revenue generator, about $268.5 million annually. Wow. Did not know that. Did not know that. And this is on top of them charging 7 times the nearest competitor. I'm just saying. Well, and you've got to kind of show some respect, right? Hat tip to them because good morning, Ham's house. How are you? You got to give a hat tip to them because they've been in the game for a really long time. You can't say that this company has not, been all about crypto for a really long time. Really long time. It was excruciating. I mean, so long that it was excruciatingly painful for people to be involved with it because of a lot of different things, right? The timing, you're in a trust. At the time, they were in a trust and they couldn't get out of the trust, even when the markets were declining. They had to ride the ship up, ride it down, and then back up again. And that ride down was, whew. I know there were a lot of people that were just banging their heads against the wall. A lot of people. So yeah, that's actually big news. World Liberty Financial co-founders met with CZ. Yeah, that CZ to talk about global expansion of DeFi and other projects that they have in mind. This is what CZ is doing. This is what CZ is doing. And, giving ideas. I mean, he's consulting different entities, countries, companies. Can't be mad about that. Hutanik, I'm not ignoring you. Give me a moment to get through everything. Then you've got the Bipartisan Guard Act proposes using blockchain technology to combat financial scams targeting seniors. Yeah. There are a lot of those scams, and not just in crypto. There are a lot of those scams and not just in crypto. We need to start tracking those phone numbers because that's how they're getting them. Tracking phone numbers, tracking those texts that come from email addresses and not phone numbers. There needs to be more security around it. And a lot of these companies are shirking their responsibility about security. I get more text messages from email addresses than I do from phone numbers. And if it's an email address, it's absolutely a scam. Absolutely a scam. Right? Just saying, there are things that pop up that we need to pay attention to, and the technology is there. And then I brought this up before, and I'll bring it up again. I think there should be an ethics probe into the Trump token. There really should be. I said it before the dinner. I'm saying it after the dinner. That is a problem. That is a major problem because it's a conduit to be able to gain access to the president of the United States just by investing in that coin. And who currently has access? Oh, people like Justin Sun, who's rumored to be one of the largest holders of that coin. Not to mention his, investing in, World Liberty Financial. So yeah, there should be something. What is your opinion on why the SEC is over Bitcoin and crypto when it's a commodity, not a security? Because it was a mistake. This has been discussed many times. Should be under the COMEX. What do you mean COMEX? What's COMEX? Electricity and tech is a commodity. Good luck putting a politician in court. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it goes to court or not. It's a matter of it should happen. With regard to Bitcoin, I think you're asking questions about looking in the past. Decisions been made. They're already talking about how certain coins should be managed by the CFTC because they're not securities. So I think the question comes from looking at the past instead of looking at where things are right now. That's always been the argument in the past. It's not an argument going forward. That's one of the changes that everybody wants. If the SEC lost the case and XRP is not a security and Bitcoin is not a security and Ethereum is not a security, the bulk of the coins out there aren't securities. That now you know why the SEC is trying to work closer with the CFTC. That's the big one. That's the big one. Now, for the news of the day, how many countries are there in the world? There are 195 countries in the world. Bear with me, I'll get there. 195 countries in the world. That's 193 full-blown countries and 2 what they call observer countries. And that would be the Vatican and Palestine. So 195 max is your number. You want to be technical, you can say 193. But really, 195 max. Okay? I've seen a lot of people get on me about, every time I talk about the tariffs. And my question is, are we being lied to? Are we being lied to about the tariffs? Because here's the deal. We've got tariff wars going on right now. Those things are kicking in. They do have economic impact. They have massive economic impact. And I'm like massive, right? But you've got to pay attention to something. We cannot have a president of the United States that's going to get out there and lie. I'm not going to say accidentally mislead, because at that level of the game, it's a lie. And you're telling a lie. We have over 200 trade deals or tariff deals on the table. How do you have that when there are only 195 countries? I keep telling you, there's no plan when it comes to the tariffs. The tariffs are one of the most expensive red herrings I've ever seen. Look over there while I do this stuff over here. There's no plan. They thought, oh yeah, we could just do that and, not a big deal. It'll be taken care of, blah, 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 blah. It's causing major economic impacts on a global scale. A global scale. It's hitting U.S. agriculture. How? Well, what China's not importing from the United States, they've made deals with other countries to augment what those losses are. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I'm going to address something real quick before we go on with that conversation. Crypto news networks. You know the rules. We do not discuss coins. We do not shill coins. I mean, we discuss coins, but we do not shill coins. I will not discuss a coin unless you've proven to me that you've done your research. And you have not proven to me that you've done your research. So, yeah, we're going to get rid of that. So, when I look at there not being a plan for tariffs, I told you yesterday, as a matter of fact, the tariff problem is still looming around our necks, right? It's an albatross. Like I said, it's probably the most expensive red herring there is. It's a problem. It's a major problem. It's not like it was an experiment. It's a red herring. That's my humble opinion. But the news is, every time we turn around, we get different numbers. The first number I heard was 70. We have 70 countries that are calling us up wanting deals. Then we got another number from Besant saying there are 15 countries that we're talking to and they want deals. Okay. Then we got another call 2 days ago. Oh, we have over 200 countries on the phone with us trying to make deals. We need to know, crypto news networks. It's going to be, what research have you done on that coin? What's their market cap? What's their coin market cap or CoinGecko ranking? What do they do? Meaning, what are their use cases? All that kind of stuff. That lets us know that there's a reason to go research that, and then we can talk about it. But until that happens, yeah, we don't even think about it. And I've seen that name pop up before, not necessarily with you, but I've seen that name pop up before. And I'm less inclined to talk about it because every time it's popped up before, it's been a shilling adventure, and I'm just not going to do that. But if there's no plan with regards to a tariff, and you already have the United States making concessions, you have countries like China making concessions for what they actually need to survive as a country, to operate as a country. So they're saying, obviously, we're not going to have big tariffs on this because. Obviously, we're not going to have big tariffs on that because. But you're in a tariff war with a country that has things like holding almost $1 trillion of our debt, having more gold than we do, having necessary, rare earths that we require to actually do things in the United States. And you want to cause a trade war. And again, the difference is we spend $453 billion or 400 something billion dollars, and they spend 150 something billion dollars, and we're mad at them because of certain things. And I'm just sitting back and I just go, I get why we could possibly have, differences of opinion. I totally get it. But if we gave them manufacturing, if we said we don't want to manufacture anymore and we hand them manufacturing, of course, we're going to wind up buying from them because they're the ones that are manufacturing. And then when you talk about bringing manufacturing back, you're talking about a country that learned how to do manufacturing from us and have now, instead of using a whole bunch of people, have a whole lot of automation going on to handle a lot of that manufacturing. So when you talk about bringing manufacturing back, notice how they specifically say they're bringing back manufacturing. They're not talking about bringing back jobs. And we're losing jobs. Companies that are making, record profit, like Google, are saying, no, we're having job cuts. We're expecting more job cuts this week. Why? Because first quarter numbers might have been good for these companies. They might have been good for these companies. By the way, this week is a big first quarter week. Big, big, big. We got 4 of the Mag 7 reporting this week. There's a lot going on. We can go over that in a little bit. But when you have misleading information out there coming from the current regime, that causes a problem. And it causes a huge economic risk. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. The GMB3, Ham's house. Now you know why we have that. It's because if we don't do our own research, we're destined to make mistakes. If you don't do your own research, you will never achieve investing deliberately. You'll never achieve that if you're not doing your own research. What do you mean by payment methods? Anybody having issues trying to get payment methods on exchanges? I don't know what that means. Are you already having issues on exchanges? That'd be interesting. But you know what we should do? That's right. We should get into the numbers. We should get into the numbers. Give me a moment. Let's get there. Let me get my notes out of the way. So the number of countries in the world, that's right. It's 195 max. Not 210, not 203, which 40% of the people out there thought it was 203. It's 195. Unless you remove Palestine and the Vatican, in which case you would say 193. But they operate as observer nations. So yeah, 195 countries max. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I still don't know what you mean, Hutanik. What do you mean? I spent all weekend getting my parents. Oh yeah, no, that's a problem. That's a problem. Whenever you're setting up a new account with certain exchanges, it's hard to get those exchanges, to get your bank account to do anything, because over the weekend, yeah, it's difficult. Once you hit Friday after 5, I think you're operating on, weekend time, which means nothing is really going to happen until Monday, which odd that the systems aren't up to actually enable you to connect. So that's weird. That is weird. I mean, it's not weird, but it has happened. It's happened to me in the past. It's weird that something like that could happen. But I was looking at the U.S. markets. Basically, these numbers say the U.S. markets are flat. Yes, they look red. Stop crying. It's basically that the U.S. markets are flat. I mean, 38. I mean, really? Like I said, flat. Earnings reports this week, like I said, 4 of the Mag 7 are coming out this week. We have Berkshire Hathaway coming out this coming weekend. So we've got Apple, Berkshire Hathaway, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Eli Lilly, Visa, MasterCard, Exxon, Coca-Cola, Chevron, McDonald's. McDonald's is going to tell you how the retail investor feels. That's going to be a good thing for people to pay attention to. A very good thing to pay attention to. Okay. Hutanik, back to your point. So something else that happens, if you decide to pay somebody via Venmo, right, after Friday, that doesn't hit until Monday. So if you're a person like me that you're paying attention to every dollar coming in, coming out, it's annoying because if I do it Thursday, I'll see it Friday. I'll see that transaction hit Friday. But in this case, I don't see that transaction hit until Monday. And that's always been a drawback to me about banks. It goes back to back in the day when banks would take forever to clear a check. And the reason why? Banks were making money off of that transfer of funds. Banks make money even overnight on interest. So imagine back in the day, they were holding checks 7 to 10 days to clear. Out of country, it's even longer. Meanwhile, the transactions happened already. Transaction has happened already. They just literally had something in there that said, no, don't clear that. We're going to make money off of that. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. That's why the law was created. Okay. So let's talk about that. So no, you're making a point, and it's the wrong point. I consulted PayPal, and Peter Thiel was not there anymore. So I see what you're trying to do there, and I don't appreciate it. So no, try again. What's the next one? But you're right. Peter Thiel was a part of the PayPal. He is a part of the PayPal mafia. Go do some research on Peter Thiel and who he is, everybody. Yeah. Go do a little bit of research on that. You got a lot of people that are part of the PayPal mafia, and you can go see who they are, what their backgrounds are, and then you'll see where I'm coming from. Yeah. But he wasn't involved when I was at PayPal. And I wasn't at PayPal. I was a consultant at PayPal, helping them create a huge data lake for all of their new holdings. So, anyway, what do you have going on next? We've got the U.S. Calendar coming up. We've got nothing today, but it's a big jobs week. So we have advanced U.S. trade balance and goods coming up, Case-Shiller Home Price Index, consumer confidence, job openings coming tomorrow. Wednesday, we have ADP unemployment. We have GDP numbers, the employment cost index, Chicago Business Barometer, consumer spending, personal income, PCE index, core PCE. Wednesday's a big deal. Then we've got Thursday, initial jobless claims, S&P final U.S. manufacturing PMI, ISM manufacturing, construction spending, and auto sales. I think auto sales is going to take a hit. Friday, we've got non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate, hourly wages year over year, and factory orders. So it's a very big deal. Hutanik, I don't know what you're doing with those comments, but I don't even find them to be funny. And you're still in the corner. Is that why you have those comments? Because you're still in the corner? Because of that other joke that you had about, Rhythm Nation? Smart Alec. So fear and greed index is at 54. It was at 61 yesterday. If you pay attention to that number. DeFi Llama, this is what I'm paying attention to. Right now, we're at $107.342 billion in total value locked. That's a big deal, and that's a great thing. It's a great thing. I like being above 100 billion. Now, I'd rather be at the 200 billion that we were way back here, right? I'd like to see that, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay? That's what I'm paying attention to. Down here, we have in the green over here, that's the DEX volume. And these are stablecoin use. So yeah, I'm paying attention to a few things that are happening across the market right now. And I think that stablecoin use is going to go up even more. We've also got Bitcoin, like I said, hovering around 94, 95. It's been staying there for the past couple of days. I think this week is going to be a major catalyst point. I think more people are going to come over to crypto. Why? US dollar is not doing great. Dollar's in decline, right? One of the reasons why I keep talking about tariffs is because if you have everybody thinking that something negative is going on, which there is, you're going to have less people thinking about doing things like buy houses. Housing prices all over the country are plummeting, or housing sales are plummeting. I told you 13% cut in mortgage applications. Places like Austin, Texas, where people were running to, especially from California, people were running to Austin, Texas, tanking. It's a report on CNBC. So yeah, there are a lot of things that I'm paying attention to, and that's one of the reasons why I keep bringing up why I'm paying attention to the tariff talks. You're literally going to get out there and talk about how you've got over 200 deals on the table. Meanwhile, there are only 195 countries in the world. Dude, come on now. Let's be serious with this. Let's be serious. Something else I want to point out, which is why I want to have these graphs up. Look at the line from here to here, right? I'm going to draw that line just real quick. I'm just looking at the lows right there. I don't really have enough data to connect the dots, but you can kind of see where that line goes. You can kind of see that upward trend. In general, we've taken a lot of hits, right? We've taken a lot of hits, but we're trending up. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. This is why this is a part of my research. This is why I tell you guys, do your own research. Know your entries and exits and absolutely invest deliberately. And you have to do them in that order. Doing your own research is the foundation upon which you build everything. Then you can start to understand what your entries and exits are. Hutanik and I just had a conversation live on the air about entries and exits. How do I get into the market? How do I move money from a bank to an exchange? Entry and exit. It's not just about how much money, at what point am I willing to get in on this particular, asset, and what number I'm willing to get out of that particular asset. But it's also a matter of how. What's the path? This is why I tell you guys, buy my book, the GMB 3, The Art of Research, Timing, and Deliberate Wealth. It teaches you that. My previous book, Crypto Foundations for Building Multi-Generational Wealth, it teaches you about the foundations of crypto. But that second book, the first book is only 89 pages. I'm not even telling you the number of pages. It looks like a textbook. It reads like a textbook. The second book reads like a textbook. The GMB 3 reads like a textbook. It's meant to be a reference for you. Meant to be a reference for you. But yeah, this is what I'm looking at when I start to do my research. What's coming? Because to me, this is my trend line. We dip below it right here. So that, and we're trying to stay away from it right there. I'm just paying attention to what's out there and making my calls based on what I see. Just saying, there's a lot to contend with right there. I wonder what happens if I do it like this. Nope, same thing. Right? So then you've got the big board and what's going on. XRP is about to take off. Clear reasons why. In 2 days, we're going to have XRP futures ETFs. Plural. Then May 19th, we'll have another one. XRP is about to explode. Quietly, have you been paying attention to ETH? Have you been paying attention to Ethereum? A few days ago, it was like, what, 13, 14? Now you're looking at 18. Don't set up a second exchange until the first one is approved. Yep. I agree with that. Unless your overall plan is to do something. Right? I've been able to do it real quick, but I also wasn't doing it over the weekend. Over the weekend or at night. Those can be your hard times on doing certain things. Just saying. Good morning, Elizabeth. So then you've got SUI up at $3.80. I could pull out now and be stupid happy. I'm not. Not yet. Not yet. But do I plan on taking some profit off of that? Ooh, yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. I would pull out of that, put some in Pax G. You know what I mean? So I can start to build up on the gold side. There are a lot of things I think about with that one. Then when I look at the numbers side by side, you have a lot. Look at that. Even Bitcoin is positive year to date. Let's see. XRP positive year to date. Wow. You did the best within the past 30 days. I look at these numbers. Why? I want to see the rhythm of a coin. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Right? Because it gives me an idea about how a coin is moving, and then I can kind of have judgment on what kind of news is going to hit. That's going to telling you. Something else that I'm paying attention to today, I believe Scott Bessent is going to be on CNBC today. Somebody be paying attention to that. I'm listening for numbers. And I better not hear, oh, it's going to be 200. They're only 195. And somebody's going to say, oh, well, it's a simple mistake, blah, blah, blah. You don't make those kind of mistakes as the president of the United States. No, sorry, I'm not going to write that off. I'm not just going to shrug that off. It's further proof there's no plan. And if there's no plan, that means there's only chaos. They're using tariffs as a tool for manipulation. That's the only thing I can see from it. So yeah, I'm paying attention. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto4growmybag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your friends about this community because we are actually trying to educate each other. And that's right. Come back this afternoon. Actually, not this afternoon. Come back this evening at 8 p.m. Whew, my morning is shot. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Crypto Overflow show hosted by yours truly, where we really get involved with the rest of the community, where I start to answer questions and not just deliver news in a one-way speech. So it's a lot of fun. We put people in the corner. That's right. Only one that doesn't go in the corner is me because I'm the chief knucklehead in charge. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to think about it. Plaid, see, I thought Plaid Hutanic, I thought Plaid was going to make things easier, and I'm just seeing that it doesn't. Nothing's changed with the use of Plaid, which is why I'm kind of like, And yes, of course, I've invested in myself today. I started investing in myself at 3:52 a.m. Okay? So yeah, I invested in myself today. Everybody, don't forget to invest in yourself today. This is Eddie J on crypto4growmybag.tv. I hope you have a good one. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time. And absolutely, as always, thank you for your trust. Bye-bye.